The greatest form of control is control that you cannot see, touch, or taste.
What is happening? Something is going on. Can you feel the way?
Hi, welcome to Spiral Into It. I'm Fisk Smith. When the subject of conspiracy theory comes up in any casual conversation, any mention of David Icke is sure to raise eyebrows. He is unquestionably the Muhammad Ali of this genre. The British monarchy, the origin of Christianity, esoteric knowledge, and shape-shifting reptiles. It's all here. What is impressive about Icke, whether you agree with him or not, is the exhaustive detail and research that went into this presentation at ConspiracyCon in the spring of 2001. Sit back and marvel, and remember, if you substitute the shape-shifting reptile metaphor with evil, it all tends to make pretty good sense. What is happening? Something is going on. Can you feel the way?
We now have had in America since 1776 or 1789, when Washington was inaugurated, 43 American presidents. 34 go back to Charlemagne. The Habsburgs, the major family in the Holy Roman Empire, which controlled most of Europe for centuries, same bloodline. The de' Medici family that funded people like Leonardo da Vinci, who was a player in this, and also employed a guy called Nostradamus. The reason Nostradamus had such advanced knowledge compared with the rest of the population is because he had access to this stream of knowledge that was passed on through initiation and kept out of the public arena, as it is today. Now, it's interesting that Nostradamus was employed by the de' Medici family and the House of Lorraine, and both are the same offshoots of the same bloodline. This bloodline comes down through the Plantagenet royal dynasty, a major dynasty in Britain. Includes King John, who signed the Magna Carta, the Henrys, the Stuart dynasty also, down through the Georges and into the present royal family. It comes down through the French royal dynasties, down to all these people, including Daniel Peyzeur. Can't go into that now, take too long, but Daniel Peyzeur appears to have been the son of Marie Antoinette and Louis the 16th, and came to America after the French Revolution, which did for his parents, and was the major force behind the creation, in fact the controlling force behind the creation of many of the great corporations that appeared to have been run by other people, like Morgan and Carnegie and all these people. The bloodline comes down through the American presidents, through Washington, Adams, Quincy Adams, Thomas Jefferson, Roosevelt, Bush and George W. Bush, Jeb Bush, of course, and Al Gore. So two members of basically the same bloodline opposed each other at the last presidential election. And this, of course, is why we have George W. Bush and Father George, presidents of the United States in the same basic era, because they're the same bloodline. Oh, George don't have to shapeshift much, does he, really, when you think about it? Look at him. So three or so years ago, I was able to say that George W. Bush would be the next president of the United States, simply by looking at the bloodline, looking at the dynasty, and looking at how his political profile was being raised at the time as a governor of Texas. So this bloodline comes down through the Lords of Galloway and the Scottish families, very, very important area for these bloodlines, Scotland, and down through all these different people. Kaiser Wilhelm II, who was the king of Germany at the time of the First World War. Maximilian, the Emperor of Mexico, he was a Habsburg. The Rothschilds and the Rockefellers. And that's why they interbreed incessantly, to hold a particular DNA structure, which we'll get into tomorrow. Joseph Smith, who created the Mormons, Merovingian bloodline. Brigham Young, who took it on, the Mormon Church, Merovingian bloodline. Charles Taze Russell, one of the key figures behind the creation of the Jehovah's Witnesses, Merovingian bloodline. And so it goes on. He's buried under a pyramid in America somewhere. And it's not just me that's started to focus on these bloodlines behind the Illuminati. This is another book by a guy called Fritz Springmeier, who looks at the same stuff. So when you follow these bloodlines down through history, and this is just like a summary of it, there's certainly a lot more to tell in the books and stuff, you also see a structure that was created through which these bloodlines could manipulate without the people realizing that one basic tribe was running the show. And the structure is to create a situation in which you have pyramids within pyramids within pyramids within pyramids, like Russian dolls, one inside another, inside another, inside another. So you've got a bank which is a compartmentalized pyramid in itself. Someone down here who's working at the counter in the local bank in San Jose will not have a clue what's happening in these other areas of the bank. This bank will then go into the global banking system pyramid as they get bigger and bigger. And when you get to the top of that, you find the global banks are controlled by the same people, the same families. Transnational corporations are in themselves compartmentalized pyramids, and they go into the transnational corporation global pyramid, and at the top of that, all the transnationals are ultimately controlled by the same force, and it's the same force that controls the banks. And this builds up through all these areas: politics, media ownership, religion, intelligence agencies, where at this level in society we see them as unconnected, giving us choice and freedom to make choices, and up there they all fuse into the same pyramid peak. And in this way, through history, they can pass down the same basic agenda for continual centralization of power, and this is why that has happened in all these areas of our lives. The longer time has gone on, the faster the centralization has happened.